The fourth question, which will also start with Mr. Acetero. Transparency is a popular campaign issue. What will you do to increase the transparency of city government among the council, clerk treasurer, CRC, and the mayor's office?
The first thing I will do is, in regard to the Carmel Redevelopment Commission, I will have all of their financial and contractual documents placed on the city website so that they're easily available to the city. In addition to that, I will establish a citywide policy that requests for documents under the public access laws of the state of Indiana will be provided within 10 working days of receipt. Thirdly, I think it's important in regard to transparency that we do certain things with the Carmel Redevelopment Commission. Whatever the state laws are, despite whether any additional requirements are passed down on the State House, I plan on voluntarily vetting financial and contractual issues and budget of the Carmel Redevelopment Commission to the City Council for vote. And this becomes an issue of transparency. So these projects, the money spent, these financing deals that are not at all transparent, where you have 3 people involved in a sale of the Energy Center in one day. And by the way, the numbers I used are all backed by the county assessor's records, where all the information is recorded. And those documents should be on the city website if we really believed in transparency.
Mr. Spiegelman?
Freedom of Information Act is something that should be followed by every city government. However, I don't quite understand Mr. Acetero's 10-day policy for releasing documents, because even today, you can walk into Mrs. Cordray's office and you can get documents almost immediately. Now that's an instance of accountability and transparency of government. One should use the example of Ms. Cordray to supply documents that are not classified to all residents if they choose to follow what is happening in the city. That is something that we haven't had for years. If somebody applies to the city of Carmel outside of Ms. Cordray's office, they might have to wait for weeks, if not months, to be able to get documents, if at all. In the Carmel Redevelopment Commission, I would suspect if you're an elected official, you might be able to get documents, but as far as a resident is concerned, that simply hasn't happened. Now that has to change. And that is the problem here in Carmel right now that I have found in the 10 months that I have campaigned. And that is that a lot of people don't really know what is going on in Carmel. They don't know what the financial situation is. They don't know where they stand in respect to the future when it comes to their, the possibility of higher taxes, if any, or what benefits that they might have to lose. They just don't know. That has to change if this city is going to be upfront about the actual situation here in Carmel. I think it's important. Accountability and transparency is one of my top priority policy positions. And as far as I'm concerned, it's about time.
Mr. Brainerd.
Again, there's a lot of rhetoric in regards to this question. Simply because the city is engaged in transactions that are complex and difficult for some lay people to understand doesn't make them non-transparent. State law requires an answer within so many days if somebody requests a document, by mail, so many days if they're so many hours if it's done in person. We very carefully follow that law. Now we've got some requests where people ask the city to create a document. In other words, they ask for information that doesn't exist. They ask for summaries of things. And we don't spend our staff time creating documents that don't exist for people. That is not the purpose of that law. Every vote of the Redevelopment Commission by law and by practice is made in public. every meeting of the Redevelopment Commission is publicly noticed. Anybody can go to those meetings. The meetings are televised. They are available online in streaming video. The minutes and the meeting notices are available online, going back, I think, almost 4 years. The information is available, and we operate according to all the requirements of state law. And quite honestly, providing streaming videos of the meeting and television broadcasting do something that most cities don't do. I think the Redevelopment Commission is extremely transparent, although I would never suggest that the transactions they're engaging in to do all this wonderful development in our center city are easy. There are complex transactions, and I think that may be where some of the problem is.